Hi, everyone. Dr. Rachel here from OptimizeTeamwork.com, coming to you from a conference outside of the Chicago area. And I was just speaking to some folks in the hallway and asking them the question, is your team change resilient and ready to handle the next change? See, despite the constant influx of change that we're hearing from AI, from technology, layoffs, restructuring, the reality is that the research is pointing to a lack of employee readiness for that change. In fact, lack of employee readiness for change and to be able to embrace yet another workplace transformation continues to be one of the greatest neglected risks across organizations. A recent Wiley study found that while 78% of employees say they would like change training and that it would be helpful and valuable to them, only 18% of employees report receiving that change training. And that gap tells me a couple of things. Certainly, there could be challenges in aligning training needs to training offerings. There could be budget concerns. But this bottom line, this gap is telling me that we are expecting change fatigued employees to be able to deal with a rapid pace of change effectively without supporting them or their managers by giving them the tools they need to do so. And by tools there, we're not just talking about what the change is. We're not just talking about announcements or all hands meetings. We're talking about the tools they truly need to be able to transform, to adapt to change, to be able to go through the psychological transitions that change requires of them. Famously, Patrick Lencioni said, change is easy, transition is hard, and that couldn't be more true. That's why so many times organizational change initiatives fall short of their original intention or really just fail entirely. My concern here is that the rapid pace of change is increasing, but the support for employees and their managers appears to be lagging far behind. So here are three things that you can do as an organization to better create a change resilient culture. I'll share these tips with you now. Number one, use communication as your most strategic tool. I know that sounds pretty obvious, but a lot of organizations just think communication means telling employees about the change or what the change is, but it goes so much further than that. It actually goes into helping them to be able to normalize the change, adapt to the change, understand how the change is going to impact them personally. Being able to pull any employee aside in the hallway and ask them, why are we making this change? And they can deliver that message to you just as well as the CEO can. And that's a pretty tough feat. The second tip that I have for you is inclusion. Anytime you can create a sense of inclusion, autonomy, giving people some power over decision making or maybe how the change is executed, you're going to grow some seeds of change adoption. You're going to bring people over from the change resistance category over to become supporters of your change because they feel included as part of the change. And then the third tip, of course, is provide them training. We offer workshops that show you the psychological transitions that have to happen in order for employees to truly adapt to and make a change. It's not the same thing to announce a change than it is to hear that announcement, make the transition, normalize and adapt to the change, and become a champion of the change, and maybe even help others support them and bring them along. Thanks so much. Talk to you later. This is Dr. Rachel from OptimizeTeamwork.com.